Order. Mary Jo, will you please call the roll?
Tom Murphy.
Here.
Kathy Pucci.
Here.
Tony DeMarco.
Here.
Ron Van Kirk.
Mr. Van Kirk had something unexpected come up at work. He will be unable to be here this evening. He's excused.
Colin Gallagher. Here. Katie Gallagher.
Here.
Kevin Tansky.
Here.
Will everyone please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we have approval of the minutes from the November 12th, 2013 meeting. We need a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second.
To approve, Tom Murphy.
Yes.
Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Tony DeMarco.
Yes.
Colin Gallagher.
Yes.
Katie Gallagher.
Yes.
Kevin Tansky.
Staying.
Okay, I do have one announcement that I'd like to make in the beginning of the meeting, and that is regarding the vacancy. There is an anticipated vacancy effective December 31st in an unexpired term of council at large ending December 31st, 2015. We have posted this notice and advertised in the newspaper and online. I encourage any interested resident who has been a resident of the City of Brooklyn for at least 3 years to submit a letter of interest and a resume. The deadline to apply is 4 p.m. Monday, December 23rd. After the deadline, we will contact each applicant with the date and time of the interviews, along with the fact sheet about the position of council at large. Thank you. Okay, next we have swearing in of our new police officers. I'm going to turn it over to the mayor.
It's my pleasure this evening to swear in 3 new Brooklyn police officers. So would Jared Coachmet please come up with your family? Nobody's got a camera? My clerk, oh, you got one, okay. Okay, Jared, would you raise your right hand and repeat after me? I state your name.
I, Jared Coachman,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution and laws of the State of Ohio,
the Constitution and the laws of the State of Ohio,
and the Charter and ordinances of the City of Brooklyn,
and the Charter and ordinances of the City of Brooklyn,
and that I will faithfully, honestly,
and I will faithfully and honestly
and impartially discharge my duties
and impartially discharge my duties
as a police officer
as a police officer
in the City of Brooklyn
in the City of Brooklyn,
according to the best of my abilities and understanding.
according to the best of my abilities and understanding.
Congratulations.
That's all right. Poke them hard. Thanks, Jared.
The next officer is Stephen Reitz, and you can come forward with your family, please. Stephen. Okay, raise your right hand. I,
I,
repeat your name,
Stephen Wright,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution and laws of the State of Ohio,
the Constitution of the laws of the State of Ohio,
and the Charter and ordinances of the City of Brooklyn,
and the Charter and ordinances of the City of Brooklyn,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
honestly,
honestly,
and impartially discharge my duties as police officer in the City of Brooklyn
as police officer in the City of Brooklyn,
according to the best of my abilities and understanding.
according to the best of my abilities and understanding.
Congratulations. And the third one is Michael Pichet. Would you come forward with your family, please? Okay, would you raise your right hand and repeat after me? I state your name.
I, Mike Pichet,
Do solemnly swear that
do solemnly swear that
I will support the Constitution of the United States,
I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution and laws of the State of Ohio,
the Constitution and laws of the State of Ohio,
and the Charter and ordinances of the City of Brooklyn,
and the Charter and ordinance of the City of Brooklyn,
and that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
honestly,
honestly,
and impartially discharge my duties as a police officer
and impartially discharge my duties as a police officer
in the City of Brooklyn
in the City of Brooklyn
according to the best of my abilities and understanding.
according to the best of my abilities and understanding.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You don't have to sit through the whole council meeting if you don't want to.
Okay, we'll move on with the public session. If anyone has anything to say for the good and welfare of the City of Brooklyn, please step up to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and please observe our 5-minute time limit.
My name is Lou Changari. I live at 8972 Trail Run Drive, Brooklyn, Ohio. At the last meeting, I was up here and I kind of browbeat the council and everybody about the new fire truck. I am not here for that because little beknownst to me, last Tuesday I had what I thought was a stroke, and I called our illustrious fire department, and they came out and took care of me, took me down to Metro, and I found out after 5.5 hours that it was an extreme migraine. Now, the reason I'm up here is I want to thank not only the fire department, but the two paramedics, Jeff and Aaron. The reason I want to thank them is after they took care of me, and let me tell you, it's nice to look at an ambulance from the outside. You do not want to look at them from the inside. Now, the only thing about the whole thing is that was Tuesday, and I think Wednesday the chief put the new one in there. I didn't get to ride the new one. But one thing I want to remind everybody is the one thing that guys like me forget is that we're not quite as tough as we think we are. And then when you get a pain, that don't fluff it off, because it could kill you. Now, I did something stupid, because what happened is when I got my first pain, it was 8 o'clock in the morning, and I was working as a school guard on the corner. And it progressed, and I said, well, I can make it to 8:30, and then I can make it and drive home, which I did, which was stupid because they reminded me that if you were having a stroke or a heart attack, and you got into a position with a stroke, you could be paralyzed, you could kill not only yourself, but somebody else. So what they said to me is, don't be dumb again. And believe me, folks, I won't. But I want you to know that this fire department and these paramedics are super people. Not only did they take care of me and calm me down, but they also calmed down my little 5-foot Irish wife. And they were concerned about us, and they were very professional. Now, another thing is Thursday when they had the open house for the fire truck, for the ambulance, I went up there, and I have a 5-year-old grandson named John who thinks that the chief and all the guys up there in the firehouse should be his second home. So when we went in there, the chief went up to John and said, hey, John, I got something for you. And John stood there and looked at him, and he put on a pin and gave him a sticker. John looked at the chief and he says, thank you very much. Now, when is the tour? I will tell you that the firemen up there have families, and they treated John like he was one of the family. They took him around. He got to go up in the new in the new ambulance and everything. But my main concern and my main message is, don't be stupid. I made a stupid move. Could have been my last one. Don't anybody else make a stupid move and make it your last. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, members of council, City of Brooklyn. My name's Michael Prochko, 8804 Ansonia, Brooklyn, Ohio, 44144. This past weekend, I was driving north on Ridge Road, past Brook Park by H.H. Gregg, and I noticed a rather shocking billboard. It's on the right-hand side of the street, attached to the CSX Railroad Bridge. Personally, I do not have children, but if I did have children, I would be kind of turned off by it. Coming into the city of Brooklyn off Brook Park, it's the first thing you would see coming into the city. If anyone is driving on Ridge Road, I don't need to mention what I'm talking about. Just look up and you'll see it. I quickly sent an email out to Mrs. Pucci, Ms. Gallagher, Mr. Tansky, and the mayor, and 3 of the council were very quickly to respond to it via email and a call from Mr. Tansky. What I did not know, however, is the billboard is actually in the city of Cleveland. So today I got an email from Kathy Pucci, who contacted the Cleveland City Councilman for that ward, and he's going to attempt to address the situation. And my point of coming up here with this, if you have an issue within the city, a lot of people get up here and badmouth the council, they badmouth this, they badmouth that. If you take the time out, go through the proper channels, whether it's through our city or another department, you contact the department head, the councilman, the mayor, somebody's going to quickly respond to you, whether it's yes, no, or they'll work on it, and they'll look into it. And for me, that's happened on more than one occasion this past year. I've contacted Ms. Gallagher on more than one occasion, and she's very quick to respond. I appreciate that. Along with that, I've been a lifelong patron of the Recreation Center, and Mrs. McGinty is another department head who's very quick to respond. If you have any questions about the Rec Center, feel free, I'm sure, to call her or ask her via email whatever your question is. This past year, they had a few maintenance issues with the sauna, the hot tub, and as everyone knows, the outdoor pool, and she kept me apprised in the situation. Currently, the hot tub is out of order, and in your report, if you could, just give an update on that and what you had mentioned about the sauna, Thank you, and everybody have a great holiday season. Merry Christmas.
Does anyone else have anything to say for the good and welfare of the city of Brooklyn? Okay. We'll move forward with reports of committees, commissions, and boards. I'll begin with the Finance Committee meeting. We met at 6:30 this evening, and we will be going into executive session to get our questions answered on ordinance 2013-70, which is a labor agreement with AFSCME, Local 3218, and ordinance 2013-71, which is a labor agreement with our Municipal Foreman and Laborers Union, Local 1099. So we anticipate going into executive session just prior to voting on those ordinances, and then we will come back out and resume our agenda. We did recommend that council approve ordinances 2013-69 and 72, and I'll elaborate on what those are when they're read into the record. That completes my report on the Finance Committee. Next is the Recreation Board, Mr. Tansky.
Thank you, Mrs. Pucci. Next Recreation Board meeting is scheduled for January, get the wrong, here we go, January. Excuse me.
The 20th?
Is that the third Monday?
Oh,
Because I got the 16th, and it's this month. The 20th, the third Monday?
yeah, is that Martin Luther King Day, though?
That's what I got screwed up, because MLK is on that day.
Here's the deal.
Yeah. So we're going to probably move it.
Announce it for next meeting.
January 20th, yeah, it's MLK Day. Ms. McGinty, do we have a, do we schedule another date? Because that's his MLK Day. We're going to go to the 21st? I might have a problem with that. Okay, next Recreation Board meeting is scheduled for the 21st of January 2014 at 7 p.m. in the Mayor's Court. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Next is legislative update, Councilwoman Katie Gallagher.
Thank you. This year's Ohio budget brought significant changes. Not only was the 12.5% rollback for new municipal levies eliminated, there was also significant changes to the homestead exemption. Those residents who turned 65 this year will only qualify for the homestead exemption now if their household income is less than $30,000 per year. Please note, those currently eligible for the program will continue to receive the exemption, so this change only applies to new applicants. And right now, there are two pieces of legislation in the Ohio Senate attempting to repeal these changes. The General Assembly has 9 pieces of legislation pending right now regarding voting procedures. Of these bills, Senate Bill 200 and SB 205 have already been approved by the Senate. SB 200 would allow state agencies to share information to update the statewide voter registration database and would allow the Secretary of State to establish agreements with other states to share this information. The bill also allows for online voter registration and updating. Some have expressed concern about the lack of protection for information that would be shared without voters' knowledge. SB 205 would allow the Secretary of State to send out absentee requests any year the General Assembly chooses to provide the funds to do so. A couple of other significant bills pending right now is HB 240, which attempts to eliminate the option of having special elections in February and August, and HB 250 that attempts to reduce the number of early voting days from 35 to 17. Thank you, and that concludes my report.
Thank you. And then you also have the Planning Commission report.
On Thursday, December 5th, the Planning Commission met. They approved a request from Mike Osterfeld to install an illuminated wall-mounted sign at 4804 Ridge Road for identification of Penn Station East Coast subs. Approved a request for site plan and design approval to construct a new addition to the existing location at 4476 Ridge Road for Loving Cups Kids Academy. Approved a request from Brooklyn Compass LLC for a final site plan approval to construct a 2,700 square foot building for Tidal Bucks located at 10800 Brook Park Road. and approved a request from Brilliant Electric Sign to install additional sign panels for future tenants on both freestanding signs located at Ridge Park Square Shopping Center. Thank you, and that concludes my report.
Thank you. Next, we'll move on to reports of council, and this evening we begin with Mr. Murphy.
Thank you. I just wanted to wish everybody a happy holiday season. Congratulations to the 3 officers that were sworn in tonight, and I have nothing else.
Thank you. Next is Mr. DeMarco.
I would just like to echo the same. I'd like to congratulate our 3 new police officers. I do not know if I'll be able to attend the final council meeting of the year, so if I'm not able to, I'd like to wish every resident and all of our employees a very Merry Christmas and have a happy holiday season, and that's all I have.
Thank you. Mrs. Colleen Gallagher.
Thank you. I also would like to congratulate our new officers and welcome to Brooklyn. And Scott, our Chief Milkey, what does that put us up to? What number of officers?
30.
30. And right now, we need 3 additional officers, you would?
I'll be asking council for 2014, 3 additional.
Okay. And 1 dispatcher?
And 1 dispatcher, yes.
And safety is very important to me, so Mayor and Council, hopefully next year, maybe we can budget some new officers so they're up to par and, you know, our residents could remain safe in Brooklyn. So I appreciate that, and that concludes my report.
Thank you. Mrs. Katie Gallagher.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I hope everyone had a nice Thanksgiving. Last week, I had a chance to meet with School Superintendent Cynthia Walker. We both agreed the school and the city need to work on their relationship, and we discussed creating a way to close communication gap between council and the school board. Both groups have a number of hardworking residents trying to do what's best for the city. Just imagine the great things the school and the city can accomplish if we work together with a unified vision. One suggestion I made was bringing back the council representative liaison to bridge this gap. This liaison was eliminated my first year of council, but I truly believe we need to revisit having this representative again, especially this upcoming year with the school construction, proposed shared facility spaces, and the renewal levy. Mrs. Walker agreed and is committed to ensuring a successful dialogue with the council and the mayor. I had a great time yesterday with my husband and daughter at the city's holiday gathering. The gathering was packed with families watching their children and grandchildren singing holiday songs, doing crafts, and getting pictures with Santa. Thank you to the mayor, the employees, and the volunteers who made this event a success, and a great job to all the children and young adults performing. It was also my daughter Quinn's first time taking a picture with Santa, and like many parents, my husband and I will get to enjoy the screaming baby picture for the rest of our lives. Congratulations to the 3 new police officers tonight who joined Brooklyn Safety Forces. Thank you, and that concludes my report.
Thank you. Mr. Tansky.
Thank you. Hope everybody had a happy Thanksgiving. I want to congratulate our 3 new police officers. And Mrs. Pucci, do we have anything from the city of Cleveland on that billboard? You mentioned it, we had a problem before, and you did contact somebody?
Yes, I'll give you an update in my report.
Okay. That concludes my report.
Okay, thank you. As Mr. Prochka said, he contacted us regarding the billboard, and it is a First Amendment issue, and most of the time when we've had complaints about it, we have not been able to do anything about it. However, there was one incident several years back where it was considered so bad that we were able to get them to take it down. So I did contact Councilman Kevin Kelly, and I followed up with his aide this morning, and they are going to have the Cleveland Law Department look into it. They don't really hold out much hope for that. However, they are going to directly contact the owner of the billboard and see if they can get them to remove it. So I'll keep everybody posted. They're going to keep me in the loop. I'd like to thank Chief Zemek and the Brooklyn Fire Department for hosting the open house for the new ambulance. The commissioning of the new squad was delayed twice because of emergency calls. It was nice to have a chance to visit with everyone, and I'd like to thank B-Shift for their hospitality. I'd also like to thank Pastor Carl Sear, Father Bill Buhall, Father Khalil, and Senior Associate Pastor Peter Folger for also participating in this. I have a sample legislation for a moratorium on loans issued on vehicle titles. which I'm going to pass along to everyone, along with the mayor, law director, and the building commissioner. I'm hoping that we can have this ready for our next meeting. Right now, there's nothing we can do to prohibit them. However, this is a moratorium similar to what we were able to do for the Payday Lending Institute, or I'm sorry, the internet cafes, and then hopefully that'll give us a little bit of time to look at our zoning ordinances and see if there's anything we can do to tweak it, such as for the Payday Lending institutions, I believe we put a stipulation in there that you couldn't have more than one within 1,000 feet. So I'll give that a copy to everybody this evening. Finally, to our new officers, Jared Coachschmidt, Stephen Reitz, and Michael Pichet, congratulations on your appointments to our safety forces this evening. I wish you a long, fulfilling, and safe career in our community. And just one comment on the liaison. I am 100% in favor of establishing that. The reason it ended up being eliminated was because the initial vision and when it was first established, where one of the council members acted as a liaison, they actually went to the board meetings and came back and shared with council what was going on. But then eventually it just turned into a situation where the only information that was being shared was, this is when the school board is meeting. So at that point, it really wasn't effective anymore, which is why we changed it in our rules. I am very much in favor of reestablishing that because I too believe there's room for improvement with communication between the city and the schools. Thank you.
May I be recognized?
Yes.
Scott, have you looked into a moratorium on this? Because I saw pending lawsuits right now against cities trying to do this, and I was just wondering if, before we move on anything that we...
I know certain cities have done it. I believe Parma Heights. I know there's others. I can look into it and see.
I'd rather us to, before we do anything.
No problem.
Okay, thanks.
That's why I'm passing it out to everybody tonight, so we can check into it, and hopefully if everything checks out, we'll be able to move forward. That completes my report. Next is the mayor's report. Mayor Balbier.
Thank you. I received a notice from Dominion, East Ohio, and that in the letter it states that in 2008, the PUCO granted a rate increase, but also a tariff to recover costs associated with pipeline infrastructure replacement, and it was set at $4.06 per month. And that's what everybody's been paying. However, Dominion is now going to go before the PUCO in February 2014, and they'll be asking for an increase to $5.52 a month. The only good thing about this, Dominion has agreed to take over the meter service lines, which means if your line goes down from the curb to your house, from now on, Dominion will take care of it. And that's a biggie, because I know a few years ago, I noticed my grass was dying in a straight line going to the street, and it was because the gas line was leaking, and it cost quite a bit of money because you were responsible for it. So we'll be paying this $5.52 per month if they get the increase, but that's the trade back that they'll take over if anything goes wrong from the curb to the house. They'll replace it. I'd like to thank the third graders from Brookridge and St. Thomas More. They were here on Friday morning to decorate the Christmas tree, and they sang a lot of Christmas songs. I then bring them in here to the council chambers and explain a little bit about the council, and then I open up to questions, and they always ask some funny questions. They always want to know how old I am, if I got bodyguards, and this year they want to know how old my wife was besides, and I told them she's younger than I had a nice, perfect answer, but it's always cute the way they come in and talk. Like Mrs. Gallagher stated, the holiday gathering yesterday was a huge success. The parking lot was jammed. In fact, we had to make announcements to move some of the cars. And I would just like to thank everyone involved, especially my secretary, Jill, who set it all up, and the volunteers, the Brooklyn Show Choir, the Brookridge Elementary third graders, and the Brooklyn Concert Band. It went very well. Our finance director, Fran, and myself delivered a check for $100,000 to Aero International. It's part of the payment of the grant that the city gave them when they announced their increase of $2 million expansion on their building, and they met the criteria within 5 months. So we gave them part of the grant. Mr. Gallagher also wanted me to tell the rest of the council members, if anybody wants to come up there, he'll be more than happy to give you a tour of the plant. Ridge Road is having the sewer work done. I'm sure you've seen it. They're trying to do all this during the winter time from the school up to Bidoff. This way, they won't have to do it in the spring when they start the second part of the paving. This part will be done. I'd like to thank Mr. Verba and the Service Department. I've been getting a lot of compliments about the Christmas lighting in front of City Hall. And also, the House Decorating Committee has chosen their 3 winners, and they're in the process of notifying them, and they will be honored at our next council meeting on December 23rd. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Mayor. Next, we'll move on to reports of directors. We begin with Mrs. McGinty. It's not on. Oh, you can
Somebody left it on, then the
come on
battery.
over here.
Good evening. I just want to remind everybody the holiday hours for the Brooklyn Recreation Center this upcoming year. Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve will be open until 3 p.m. On Christmas Day and New Year's Day will be closed. And as for Mr. Prochko, thank you very much for, I will let everybody know about the Whirlpool. The Whirlpool right now is down, and we have a part on back order, and hopefully by the end of the week, I'm hoping that it will be up and running again. And as for the sauna, we did purchase new wood for the sauna, and hopefully beginning of the new year, we will be replacing all the cedar wood inside of the sauna. So that will be down for a couple weeks once we get all that done, but we'll have a new sauna inside. So that concludes my report.
Thank you. Mr. Enovich.
Council President Pucci, members of council, just like to give you an update through the month of November on our financial position. The general fund expenditures year-to-date, as of today, were $14,564,440. Our general fund balance presently is $8,758,444. Our total fund balance of all funds is $20,396,432. Our total revenues year-to-date are $25,644,999, and the income tax revenues year-to-date are $15,579,818. That's 7.41% greater than the same period last year. Also, Ordinance 2013-72 is on the agenda tonight. This is the initial budget/appropriation ordinance. It's titled as the temporary appropriation, but it really carries out through January 1st through December 31st. It's the cornerstone on which the 2014 budget will be built, and it will be amended continually through the year, but by March 31st of 2014, we will have a final budget which will involve the participation of council in the public in our budget meetings. Also, at the December 23rd meeting, you can expect a final appropriation ordinance. We've got some tweaking to do, the appropriations. For example, we have the printer that the council authorized the fire department to build that wasn't appropriated. We've got some transfers and some advances to complete, and we will have that to you for your December 23rd meeting. Once again, thank you for the staff and the mayor and your cooperation. This is day 32, and I think I'm getting a little used to it. So any questions, any comments from the public or from council, I'd be more than glad to entertain. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Enovich. Okay, we'll move on to the next part of our agenda. Next, we have Chief Zemek.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I wasn't on your agenda, but
That's okay.
but I'd just like to thank the mayor also for being there Friday afternoon, and for his support and helping me line this up. So that's all I want to say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have council confirmation. We have a letter from the mayor Dear members of council, I'm requesting council confirmation on the reappointment of Mr. Joe Polidori to the City of Brooklyn Planning Commission. His current term expires on December 31st, 2013. His new term would be until December 31st, 2019. Thank you. Sincerely, Mayor Richard Balbier.
Move to confirm Mr. Joe Polidori to the City of Brooklyn Planning Commission.
Second.
To confirm the appointment, Tom Murphy.
Yes.
Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Tony DeMarco.
Yes.
Colin Gallagher.
Yes.
Katie Gallagher.
Yes.
Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
Okay, next we have ordinance 2013-69, authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with the juvenile diversion coordinator. This will be our contract for the year 2014, and it calls for our coordinator to receive a minimum of $500 per month and a maximum of $18,000 per year. We get part of this reimbursed through the county, and then there's also a fee associated that the parents pay for their son or daughter to participate in this program. And we do want to, go ahead.
Introduced by all, suspend the rules.
Second.
To suspend the rules, Tom Murphy.
Yes.
Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Tony DeMarco.
Yes.
Colin Gallagher.
Yes.
Katie Gallagher.
Yes.
Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
To adopt, Tom Murphy.
Yes.
Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Tony DeMarco.
Yes.
Colin Gallagher.
Yes.
Katie Gallagher.
Yes.
Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
Okay, now, we do have the two agreements for the collective bargaining agreements. We can either go in now, or we can take the rest of the agenda and just shift those down to the end. Does anyone have a preference? Any feeling either way?
Go ahead and continue.
Continue? That's good with everyone? Okay. So we'll move on to ordinance 2013-72, which is our temporary appropriations. And we're going to pass this by emergency measure this evening. For everyone's interest, again, this will be tweaked. This is just to get us started, but it calls for the general fund to have an appropriation of approximately $16.6 million.
Introduced by all and suspend the rules.
Second.
To suspend the rules, Tom Murphy.
Yes.
Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Tony DeMarco.
Yes.
Colin Gallagher.
Yes.
Katie Gallagher.
Yes.
Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
To adopt, Tom Murphy.
Yes.
Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Tony DeMarco.
Yes.
Colin Gallagher.
Yes.
Katie Gallagher.
Yes.
Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
Okay, next we have ordinance 2013-73, accepting the amendment to the easement with Key Bank National Association, formerly Society National Bank. This is a revision. We previously did amend an easement agreement. Now, it turns out that there is a water main easement on this same portion of land. So we need a separate amendment to address that, and we do want to pass this by emergency measure this evening.
Introduced by all, suspend the rules.
Second.
To suspend the rules, Tom Murphy.
Yes.
Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Tony DeMarco.
Yes.
Colin Gallagher.
Yes.
Katie Gallagher.
Yes.
Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
To adopt, Tom Murphy.
Yes.
Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Tony DeMarco.
Yes.
Colin Gallagher.
Yes.
Katie Gallagher.
Yes.
Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
Okay, at this time, we will go into executive session with the mayor, the law director, and the finance director for the purpose of discussing labor negotiations. We will reconvene. We anticipate taking action on ordinances 2013-70 and 2013-71. And at that time, we anticipate going into another executive session to discuss potential litigation with the mayor, the law director, and the finance director. When we reconvene from that session, we do not anticipate taking any further action other than to adjourn the regular meeting. Okay, so we need a motion for the first executive session for the purposes of labor negotiations.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
To go into executive session, Tom Murphy.
Yes.
Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Tony DeMarco.
Yes.
Colin Gallagher. Katie Gallagher.
Yes.
Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
Motion, or Rob, are you ready? Okay, we need a motion to reconvene.
Move to reconvene.
Second.
To reconvene, Tom Murphy.
Yes.
Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Tony DeMarco.
Yes.
Colin Gallagher.
Yes.
Katie Gallagher.
Yes.
Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
Okay, next we have ordinance 2013-70, authorizing the mayor of the city of Brooklyn, Ohio, to enter into a contract with the AFSCME Ohio Council 8, AFL-CIO Local 3218 clerical employees. And the highlights of this contract are that in 2013, there is a 3.25% raise, which will be paid retroactively. In 2014, it's 1.5%, and then a reopener for 2015. And then starting December 1st of 2013, employees will be contributing 10% of the healthcare premium. And we want to pass this by emergency measure this evening. We need a-
Introduced by all and suspend the rules.
Second.
To suspend the rules, Tom Murphy.
Yes.
Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Tony DeMarco.
Yes.
Colin Gallagher.
Yes.
Katie Gallagher.
Yes.
Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
To adopt, Tom Murphy.
Yes.
Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Tony DeMarco.
Yes.
Colin Gallagher.
Yes.
Katie Gallagher.
Yes.
Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
Next, we have ordinance 2013-71, authorizing the mayor of the city of Brooklyn, Ohio, to enter into a contract with the City of Brooklyn Municipal Foremen and Laborers Union Local 1099. And the highlights for this contract are the same as with AFSCME. And we're going to pass this by emergency measure this evening.
Introduced by all and suspend the rules.
Second.
To suspend the rules, Tom Murphy.
Yes.
Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Tony DeMarco.
Yes.
Colin Gallagher.
Yes.
Katie Gallagher.
Yes.
Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
To adopt, Tom Murphy.
Yes.
Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Tony DeMarco.
Yes.
Colin Gallagher.
Yes.
Katie Gallagher.
Yes.
Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
Okay, does the mayor or any member of council have anything further they'd like to say?
I do.
Mrs. Gallagher.
I apologize. Mr. Van Kirk wanted me to read something. Nothing brings families, friends, and communities together like the celebration of Christmas. Please join your Brooklyn neighbors as we all celebrate Christmas in Brooklyn. You and your family would not want to miss this one-time event. On Saturday, December 21st at 6 p.m. in the Brooklyn Senior Center, the Christmas musical One King will be performed. This musical blends the true meaning of Christmas with classical Christmas carols, stirring drama, and the truth warmth that comes at Christmas time. This Brooklyn event is free of charge and is designed with you and your family in mind. The Senior Center is located at 7727 Memphis Avenue. Following the performance, donuts, coffee, and hot chocolate will be served. Please make plans to be a part of this first Christmas in Brooklyn. For additional information, please call 216-965-5737. Merry Christmas. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. At this point, we anticipate going into executive session to discuss potential litigation with the mayor, the law director, and finance director. We need a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
To adjourn to executive session, Tom Murphy.
Yes.
Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Tony DeMarco.
Yes.
Colin Gallagher.
Yes.
Katie Gallagher.
Yes.
Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
And to clarify, when we reconvene, we will not take any other action other than to adjourn the regular meeting. Okay.